So we are on to the playoffs on a good note, on a win. And let's break down what is ahead for the Nuggets and who else but Mike Singer of the Denver Post, the absolute best in the business. You can always find him on Twitter at @msinger, and of course his great work at the Denver Post online and in paper form. All right, here's the question, Mike. Everybody's been saying it. What have these Nuggets been since the All-Star break? 12-11. Are you concerned or are you not?
Romy, I was mildly concerned about that 12-11 stretch since the All-Star break. A very average offense, a very average defense throughout the past 3 or 4 weeks. Fine. Look at what they did before that, though. 41-18, a dominant offense. I think they were 13th in the NBA in defense. This is a team that did its work early so that they could, we're going to say they coasted or they backed into the postseason. They'd obviously lost 5 of 6 heading into today. I do think they needed a win just to get their spirits up, just to be like, hey, this is what it feels like to win again. And then you have the week off leading into the play-in tournament. We know they're going to play on Sunday. Their opening round opponent as the 1 seed. We have no idea who they're going to face. But I'm not overly concerned. When motivation becomes a question with this team, it's hard to really hold their feet to the fire and say, well, what are you playing for? They did just clinch the first #1 seed in their Nuggets NBA history. I don't know how much we could fault them.
Yeah, I think you're right on all that. I agree with you. But let's take a look at this now. Michael Malone, Nikola Jokic, maybe going for a 3rd-time MVP. Jamal Murray. Who's got the most pressure on them right now?
There's a lot of eyeballs. There's a lot of scrutiny that's going to be looked upon with these guys. Nikola Jokic, people, if he is going to win a 3rd consecutive MVP, people want to see results. What does that mean? You need to probably reach your first NBA Finals in your NBA career. Jamal Murray, we haven't seen you healthy since the bubble when you made history. So this has kind of been building for 2+ years. This iteration of the Nuggets, they're finally healthy. Can they maximize? Can they reach their potential? Michael Malone, there's a lot of eyeballs on him. Finally, this team is healthy. What can you do when you have Michael Porter Jr. back? You have a healthy Aaron Gordon, Jamal, and Joker. Now you have defenders and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown. All of these guys, all the pieces seemingly fit together, and they're finally healthy. So with that being said, you don't really have an excuse for any of those guys to not maximize and at minimum, in my opinion, get to the conference finals.
All right, so you talk about kind of that pressure, getting to the conference finals. Let me do a glass half full, glass half empty in one question.
Okay.
What are you most confident about in this team, and what are you most concerned about?
It couldn't be harder, that question. Most confident in the offense.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic is an elite basketball player. The offense has been incredible for the past few seasons. I'm not worried in the least about their offense, even though the 12-11 after the All-Star break, the 3-point shooting plummeted, not to where we were accustomed throughout the rest of the season. The biggest concern, in my opinion, is the defense, and it's not hard to figure out why. They have struggled defensively in the most recent postseasons. You inevitably put a lot of pressure on Nikola Jokic, on Jamal Murray, on Michael Porter Jr. as defenders. Those are not necessarily known as above-average defenders. So there's a lot of stress on those guys. Can this defense bring it? Can their stamina last throughout the entire postseason? That's what I'm looking at. If this team can defend at the level they're capable of, again, what they were at before the All-Star break, everything is on the table for them. It's can you defend? The offense, they can do that in their sleep. They can run pick and roll. Joker can facilitate it and distribute. He can do that in his sleep. It's the defense. That's what I'm most concerned about, and I guarantee you that is what Michael Malone is most concerned about.
All right, so when you look at, we don't know who the Nuggets are going to play. We won't know for a few days. What, in your mind, is the best and worst case matchups for Denver in that first round?
All right, we're going to go best case scenario first. If they ran into the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think they'd be thrilled. The Thunder, the 10 seed going into the play-in tournament, would need to win 2 games on the road. If they saw the Minnesota Timberwolves, we're going to call them the infighting Minnesota Timberwolves at this point. I don't think that they would be that scared of that matchup. Obviously, Jaden McDaniels, one of their best defenders, just broke his hand. Rudy Gobert, Kyle Anderson, what's that chemistry like? Old friend Tim Connolly would be fun. We'll see if that happens. That would be the best case scenario to run into one of those 2 teams. In my opinion, the Pelicans and the Lakers are both scary. They have a lot of length. The Pelicans in particular, if Zion Williamson is able to return, in my opinion, he is the biggest X factor in the first round. And I think the Pelicans have been very careful not to shed a lot of light on where Zion is health-wise, right? Because he can swing a playoff series. And as for the Lakers, I don't need to tell you about the Lakers. I think that there's an aura and a little bit of maybe just some bright eyes, big eyes when you see LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the team that knocked them out in the Western Conference Finals in the bubble. That being said, if you are the #1 seed, it does not matter who you see in the first round. If you are deserving of the #1 seed, you should not be shook by whatever matchup you face, be it the Lakers, be it Zion on the Pelicans, or if you get, like I said, old friend Tim Connolly.
Well, if we had to pick a #1 seed in the media, it would definitely be Mike Singer. Make sure you follow him for the best Nuggets news, insights, updates, all playoffs long. Mike, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it, Romy. Thank you.